When I was 26 years old, I was saved by Christ. I had a time period where I was going through a lot. Um, I was losing friends from my teenage years. I watched my best friend, Shaka, get killed in front of me, pretty much died in my arms. And then I watched Jarrell pretty much, he lost his life to gun violence not too soon after. And then my grandmother, who was her favorite, she had passed right after, so I just kept experiencing a lot. This was like when I was in my bodybuilding years. From bodybuilding years, I was supposed to have gone into bodybuilding, but I ended up transitioning into exotic dancing. And being an exotic dancer, it was cool, the actual dancing part, but the activities, that extracurricular activities that came along with it was damaging to my life, you know. Not that smoking came with it because I was smoking weed prior to that, but I just took that on heavy because of the loss of my friends. Where I remember I was smoking, and I remember looking at weed, and I had a conversation with weed, and I was like, "You gonna be my best friend, right?" So I ended up going into dancing. I was drinking, just living my life. You know what I mean? So anyway, I guess at a certain point it kind of like spiraled out of control. Met a few people that had a negative influence in my life. You got your influences, good and bad, and then say like came into like a few women. One particular was a witch. She pretty much was like putting spells on me or whatnot, or manipulating my reality in a negative way, And then came across a few other people that pretty much just kind of had the same intention. Now I understand that the vibration I was in, I was calling it into my life, but it sucked. It was really bad. This is like long story short. So around 26, I heard about, 25 going into 26, I heard about this process called ascension, which what I thought it was different from what I thought. Well, my understanding of what ascension is now is different from what it was then, but it's pretty much, I just wanted to really master ascension or ascending, and being an ascending master. You hear about the ascended masters like Sandalphon, and so many others. I won't go into the names of them. But I pretty much wanted to take on that, and I remember I was in the elevator. No, I'm not gonna go into the story, but I was threatened. I was like in an elevator. Shit, I was about to go into it. Anyway, I was threatened by a witch. You know what I mean? And she like gave me this option, and the option that she gave me, it was like, this is what I read it as. You know what I mean? It was either I choose ascension and choose to live, or I keep quiet and run away from it and just, I guess, face death. You know what I mean? And I chose life. I chose to live. Because the option that she gave me, she didn't realize that the option she was giving me was like either, like it wasn't like live or die. She just gave me two options, and it was like, well, she tried to scare me out of ascension, and it's like, well, I'm going full on for ascension, so it's either you just got to do this. I mean, you're doing this shit, right? So I go into my, I went into heavy meditation. I went into heavy prayer. Went into crystal work. I went into, at the time I wasn't even using crystals, but I went into like the chakra channels and all of that, and just meditating on that. I was still smoking weed at the time, but I switched up my diet, so I went primarily vegan. I had friends that was pretty much doing it with me, but they kind of like backed out, and I just went full on. Like this was like all I cared about. Like I said, prior to that, I wasn't necessarily suicidal, but I just didn't care about life, which is what I'm sure everybody who drinks and smoke every single day to escape reality. It's kind of like it's kind of committing suicide because you just don't care about life, you know. So I was in this process every day of like, you know, killing myself, because that's what it is, you know, just escaping reality. And the anyway, one day I was on my friend's couch and we were smoking weed. And while we were smoking weed, I was doing this meditation while smoking weed. And we were watching a movie, and I remember the movie that was on, it was a certain part in the movie where they were in church and they were talking about God. And I remember seeing the image of what appeared to be Jesus. And during this meditation, my whole world changed. You see, like how the sun just came out? It was like I felt that from the inside out. I had made contact with my angel, or my angel had made contact with me. And this was on a Saturday, and life changed completely. I remember I was stuck in this process of always going to my friend's house. And it was kind of a trap house. It was a trap house. But it was supposed to be a studio, but it ended up being a trap house and all of that. And it was just the same friends every single day, doing the same bullshit every single day, just doing nothing, just smoking, just drink every single day, just nothing, just absolutely nothing, you know. Luckily, at the time, he was watching some information on health. So I remember going down there on the, like I said, I had made contact, or Christ. I had made contact with my angel or Christ. I don't know if it's the Melchizedek consciousness or God itself, but I had came into a new vibration of life that I never ever experienced, and I could feel the vibration running through me, right? So I remember going down to my friend's house that night, leaving from my homeboy's crib and going to my other friend's house where I said I'm usually at. And I remember one of my friends saying, like, she looked at me and she was like, "Aunt, is that you?" Clearly, you can see it's me, you know what I mean? But she just didn't recognize me, right? And then I went down to, I stayed over the night, and then I woke up in the morning. Life was different. Right? And you know what? Thinking about it, as a matter of fact, on that same Saturday night, some friends that came over, and I remember because it was like a 3-story house, and where we usually chilled was in the basement. And I remember going downstairs, saying something to him, coming upstairs, and I was in the house, and then when they came up the stairs, it's as if I had this shield around me, like God put a shield around me, or you know, like how they say, like the fire of Christ, or Jesus put fire around you, or covered in the blood of Christ. And I remember that they couldn't even like look at me, to the point to where it was like there was an angry look that they were giving me, but they couldn't hurt me, or they couldn't touch me, or they couldn't get to me. It was like a force field around either me or them that was just steering them away from me, to the point where I couldn't be touched by them, you know? So I know what it means now when you're fully protected by God, and nothing can harm you, and nothing can hurt you, and nothing can touch you. You know what I mean? So they end up like walking right by me, and I don't know where they went, and I remember just falling asleep and waking up the next day, and the sun was so big, so large. And I remember when I went to the store, I was going to get fruits and vegetables. Like I said, I was vegan at the time. I'm not vegan right now in this moment, but at the time I was switching into going vegan, right? So I'm going to the store, and I remember seeing all the kids going to church, and everybody was all the little kids running around. And I remember my friend's mom, my stepmom, seen me, and she was like, "Anthony," and it was just everything was happy. Everybody was smiling, and everything was just more than okay. It was literally as if it was just heaven on earth. Right. So So now, life after that has been a roller coaster, a complete roller coaster, full of ups and downs, full of good and bad, but there's always that remembering of God and my angels and my primary angel that watches over me. Right now, I've decided to stick with making contact with only, and it's more so of an energetic thing. This is an energetic thing, right? Of Gabriel, Michael, and God. Now, I'm pretty sure that there's female aspects to these forms or these energies, or energies may be masculine and feminine and whatnot, but this is just my testimony, because I never spoke on this and never gave y'all the actual reason why I'm always posting about God and posting so much about this and posting so much about that. And I know that I was actually harming myself by doing that. I think more of stuff like the ups and downs it has been because I pretty much just held it to myself. But God is real. God is more than real. God is the only thing that is real, and everything else is just the experiences that we have that come along with it. But God saved me. So many times. And I'm just happy to be able to tell you my experience. So if there's anybody that you know, anybody that needs to hear this, that may be going through their own experience, not to just have faith or believe, but to know that God is real and God loves us. And all we have to do is just remember God, and everything will be more than okay. I love you. I love you, 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 I love you. Maybe in the future I'll be speaking more on this. I'll give like some deeper insight on my life and what I've been through and what we all may be going through together and whatnot. And but the overall message in this is that God is real. God loves us, and that's it. I love you. All my heart, in my tiny heart space, in big heart space, and all my heart space. I love you.